In this lesson, we're going to create the components for the cylinder. Alright, so we've created the cylinder itself, and now we need the attaching components that will attach it to the rest of the frame. So the components we need are the spindle, okay, this is one, and then we also need the ratchet. The spindle is going to be this cylindrical shape, and it extends out, and this is what you actually use to eject the ammunition outside the backside of the gun. So let's go ahead and start creating this component first. So let's go to our front view. Actually, not our front view. Let's go to our left view, hitting L on the keyboard to do that. And let's go ahead and create a new cylinder. Let's left-click and drag that in. Try to make it about the radius of that object that you see there. Okay, so go ahead and just type in 0.6 if you want to get that right. And then we'll just go ahead and rotate it 90 degrees. Okay, so with that rotated, make sure that you have your segments and everything set up as I do. So one height segment, one cap segment, and 8 sides. Let's go ahead and move this to the back to match up the reference image there. And then let's go ahead and convert it to editable poly. Let's go ahead and go to vertex mode, select these vertices along the front, and let's just make sure that that is lining up there. Great. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and go to polygon mode, select this polygon right here on the front side, and actually before I forget, let's go ahead and select the polygon that's on the back side and delete that. Now let's go ahead and select the front, and we'll use inset. Let's go ahead and inset this to amount of, let's go ahead and point this up here. Let's go to about 0.25, maybe 0.3, and hit OK. Let's go ahead and extrude that, and that's going to extrude that spindle, and I think 0.3 was right on the money. That rarely ever happens to me. Alright, so let's go ahead and put that at, let's say, a value of 2, just for right now. Hit OK, and then we'll just move that polygon forward in the Y direction. Alright, now before we go any further, let's make sure that the cylinder is centered on the spindle, or on the cylinder. So let's go ahead and go to Align, and Align to the cylinder. Make sure that you have X and Z checked. Go ahead and leave the Y just the way it is, so that way it doesn't move it back into the cylinder. Let's hit OK on that, and you'll see that that's centered up pretty well. Now if you need to, you may have to make some adjustments to the location of the slot here. We made that, we got pretty close to where we needed it to be on the gun, but you may have to make some subtle changes to make that fit in there. I'm going to go ahead and take that size down of the spindle just a little bit more. So let's select all those polygons, grab the scale tool, and scale on the Z and X, just to make that a little bit thinner. Alright, that looks good. Okay, so with that set, you'll notice here that we have a couple of details here that we want to go ahead and add in. And we also have this rounded end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and isolate this. Let's go to vertex mode, and I'm going to select the top vertex and the bottom vertex, and let's connect. And then we're going to right click and cut from this vertex across to here. With both of those set, what we'll do now is go ahead and grab our polygon mode, select these 4 polygons, inset that just a little bit. So we'll inset that to like something like 0.02, hit OK, and then we're going to extrude that. Now it's just going to be such a small amount, we want to do something like maybe 0.1, and then hit OK. Then what I'll do is go ahead and take this vertex right here on the end, and I'm just simply going to move that out. It's going to create kind of this point here, but that's going to make sure that this gets rounded out whenever we smooth it. Now let's go ahead and turn off isolation mode, and you'll see that that comes out to the end there. You may want to take those vertices and just pull those back a little bit. Now what we'll do is go ahead and go to edge mode, select all of these edges here right in the center. That should select that entire ring, and we'll use connect. Now let's split that into 2 segments, and let's bring our pinch down to where those are really close together. So we'll do something kind of like that. Alright, good. And then we'll move this down, and I'm going to go to my right view, or excuse me, my left view, and just kind of looking at this, I'm going to go ahead and bring it to right about here. And then let's go to polygon mode, hitting 4, select this polygon here, hold shift and select the next one below it. That should select that entire ring of polygons, or loop of polygons, however you want to say it. And then we're going to extrude. Now we're going to extrude by local normal, and we're going to extrude in a negative direction, so that way we get this little groove in here. So let's do negative 0.05. Hit OK on that. There we go. That should give us plenty to work with there. All right. Now let's go ahead and smooth it out. So we're going to use Turbo Smooth to do that. And you'll see that it starts to smooth out. And now we need to retain some of our volume that we had before. This can be done pretty easy by going to Editable Poly, Show End Result, go to Edge Mode there, and then use the Swift Loop to add those edges. So let's add one here on the end. Let's also add one right in here. You may have to turn off Show End Result so you can see that. So I want to add one right here at the bottom, and also close here to the top corner, and then also on the main shaft here. Put that there. And now let's come in and let's add one right here, one here, and one here. Let's also add one here. Okay, and that should be everything that we need. You may want to come in and add just a couple right in this area just to kind of help retain that edge there. Okay, so that looks good. Happy with the way that looks so far. Let's go ahead and take a look at it with Turbo Smooth applied. You can see that that looks pretty good. Happy with that. All right, so that is the spindle that is going to be used on this. You could go ahead and make some adjustments to that if you like, but I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. So let's go ahead and change its color and apply material to it. And we'll hit OK. And in the next lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to take care of the ratchet that we see here. So we'll get started with that next.